Hi, Tony here and welcome to the Man Cave, where this week I will be fitting one of these to one of these. So those of you that watch my channel will realise that I've got a Triumph Street Twin, and some time ago I was looking to decat the bike and I picked one of the Freespirits X pipes to install. It was easy to fit, it fitted perfectly first time, and it made a huge difference to the bike. I've been really pleased with that. They have fairly recently launched the H pipe, which is again a decat pipe that works on the Triumph Street Scrambler. Now, because of the success of the previous video, Freespirits got in touch with me and said, would you like to do a video showing how to install one of these? I said, yep, that will be great, but I don't have a street scrambler. Thankfully though, Dave Lilly at Jack Lilly stepped in and has loaned me a street scrambler for a couple of days so that I can install this and show you just how quick and easy it is to fit and what a difference it makes. So I'd just like to say thanks to Dave and the guys at Jack Lilly for organising that, which enables me to bring you this video. Okay, this is a fairly straightforward job. I think it's going to be quicker and easier than the job on a Street Twin, which is a little bit involved. Let's crack on with it. Okay, so before we get it on the bike, let's have a quick look at the pipe itself. Again, really nicely finished stainless steel pipe. We've got a machined piece on the end here. The welds are really good. Obviously we're going to get a nice bit of discoloration on this. And it doesn't weigh very much, so if taking the cat out of the Street Twin is anything to go by, this is also going to be a bit of a weight saving, as well as making the bike sound much better. Now I know I'm going to get some people making comments about, well, there's welds in the middle of bends and you know, that's a problem and it's a cheap way of doing it. I tend to disagree. If there was a problem in having welds in the middle of bends in exhaust pipes, then you wouldn't get this, for example. And if it's good enough for MotoGP, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good enough for the Street Scrambler. Freespirits have been in business for a very long time. You know, I've spoken to them about the other X pipe, and I know that these are flow tested and there's dyno charts produced for them, are properly researched and properly designed. There's a lot of time and money goes into them. I like the fact that this has got the backup behind it. Okay, so again, just to make things easier, I've got the bike up on the stand just because it makes it easier for me to film it, but actually you can do this job with the bike on the side stand, no problem. And in with the H pipe you get some very comprehensive fitting instructions. So for the benefit of people that are going to order it and follow these, I'm going to follow the instructions exactly as they are in here. And again, that's another thing that Freespirits do. They will give you these instructions, that they go to the trouble of producing these. So the first thing that you need to do is to remove this beautiful heat shield, and that is just two 5mm Allen keys. One, two. That then pops off. And while I've got this off, just to show you, this is a double skinned heat shield, so you've got the internal one, then a gap, and then the second one, and it's very effective. A lot of people think that you're going to burn your legs on these. I rode this for an hour and a half, or well over an hour. I rode it back and I was able to rest my hand on that heat shield with no glove, and it was warm, but it wasn't hot, didn't burn myself. It does a very good job of protecting you. Once that heat shield's out of the way, same size Allen key gets you to this bolt here. And once you've got that undone, you can slide that forward, and as the shield comes off and exposes the cat. So the next job now is to take the back section of the exhaust off, and around between the two exhausts to start things off, you've got this, again, another 5mm Allen bolt to undo here. This is the bracket that holds the two exhausts together. Now getting to this bolt at the back can be a little bit tricky just because of where it's positioned. So if you're trying to use an Allen key, you haven't got the swing on it. So I've just put an Allen key in a socket so I can get to it from the end. And there is a captive nut in the bracket on the bottom pipe. So you just need to put that little bolt somewhere safe. The next job then is to undo the clamp for the top pipe. Again with the 5mm Allen key. Most of this job is going to be done with the 5mm Allen key, so that's going to be loose enough to be able to slip that off. But you can't take this top pipe off until you've undone this 12mm nut at the top here, so get that loosened off. Once this bolt comes out the top here, watch out for the top hat that will fall out of the bottom. There's a rubber seal and you've got a top hat that sits up underneath and one that sits at the top. Once they're out and this is loosened off, there you go, top section will just come away. That needs to go and sit somewhere nice and safe. That then exposes another bolt of a similar style at the top here, that, and again loosen off this Allen key and that bottom exhaust will come away. Then that gives us the ability to get the catalytic converter well and truly out of the way. So as with the other exhaust, this is now free to pull off. You just got to watch that top hat, and there to give you an idea of what you've got. That was what fell out before. You've got a top hat that sits, so the frame bracket will sit here. That top hat goes in there. There's one in the top as well, the bolt through there, so you just got to remember that when you put that back together. Okay, so now the next job is to get the bolts out for the collar on this side and also the O2 sensor. So these are 12mm. Yep. That's one. That's the other one. So once that's done, that exhaust collar should come off. There we go. So that's out of the way. That then exposes the O2 sensor, which is a 17mm spanner. Okay, that gets that out of the way. I'm just going to tuck that up there, out of the way. Then you're back in with your 5mm Allen key to loosen the clamp that sits on the bottom pipe that's just behind the radiator. That one is just a little bit awkward to get to because of where it is, but once that is undone, and there you go, there is your cat. And that, I can tell you, is quite a bit heavier than what is going to be replacing it. These clamps you can leave on, but one thing you will have to do is take these little captive clips off because they need to be transferred across onto the H-pipe. And there you can see these just need to be put onto these two clips here, so the original shield can go back on. And then the reverse is very simple. It is just put the pipe on the bottom. You've got a different fitting. It's not an Allen key, it's a little bolt. This section will fit into the top here. And you can then just put the O2 sensor back in, just slip the collars over and pop the bolts back on. But at this point you want to just leave that loose so you've got a little bit of flex. So now with that clamp back in place here, put that top hat underneath, slide that on. You can then push this bottom exhaust into place. I'm just going to fit that bolt in there just to make sure that that's all right. So we can do that one up, and we can do this up now that we know that that's in the right place. There you go, that's nice and tight. And then we can do the same thing with the top. Top one is just a little bit fiddly because you've got to ensure that it's in line, that the captive bolts line up at the back. Now that looks pretty good. If we can get the bolt in through there. I'm not going to do that up completely until I've got this little fella in at the back here. Got the little one done up the back. We can tighten this one. Don't forget to tighten up the two clamps here and here. This clamp at the front now has an 8mm nut on it, which means it's with a ratchet spanner it is actually a bit easier to get to. And now that's done up, you can just tighten these, and these need to be done up to 19 Newton meters. And then comes the somewhat tricky part of lining this, putting this bit back on. Tricky because you've got two little tabs with rubber grommets in here that fit on these tabs. Invariably though, these tabs get in transit, moved and pushed in, so it just takes a little bit of fiddling to get those lined up so that slides on. Bolts in, bolt the other cover on, and then we're ready to start it up and let you see what it sounds like. So you can actually put this back in several parts. The first bit tucks underneath and you can see you line it up with the holes, and the second part which actually even got another layer in there, so a triple layer of insulation. that just sits over the top, and then with a little bit of jiggery pokery you can find the holes. And there you go, job done. Let's see what it sounds like. So there you go, pretty straightforward job to do. Gets this catalytic converter out. That's going to save you quite a bit of weight. The other difference is in the sound. The bike at idle doesn't sound a lot different, but when you crack the throttle open, you do get a much raspier brap to the bike. It's not obnoxious, I think, with the standard pipes on there. You just get a little bit noise. You're able to blip the throttle and get that bark, which you sometimes need. It also makes a difference to the feel of the bike. It just feels a bit peppier, it feels a bit livelier. Just clearing that pipe through does mean that the bike feels a little bit more alive, and it was great fun to ride. So as usual, there'll be a link up in the top corner which will take you away to a website where you can find more information about the H-pipe. There'll be links to other videos in the end credits, as well as that subscribe button. So if you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. That would be very much appreciated. Thank you. And then all that leaves me to say is until next time, thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.